Okay, guys, looks like I do have limited time, so we need to get going. I'm just going to jump right in. So I want to welcome everybody back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos, of course, broadcasting to you live from Phoenix, Arizona. Today, we're going to dive into some of the recent updates with Rex Heuermann and how it's going to tie in John Bittrolff and James Burke. Now, these characters we've covered before on my channel. Rex Heuermann extensively. So if you need to go back for an overview or a refresher, I do recommend that. Okay, so we didn't know a whole lot about Sandra Castilla, but we did go over who Jessica Taylor was, and we know Sandra was listed as a potential victim of John Bittrolff. So that shows you how closely related these crimes are. And I do believe John Bittrolff is trying to use this as his defense now, trying to say, well, if he didn't commit this other murder that he was being accused of or a POI of, then he obviously didn't commit the other two. But the two that he was charged with are completely different. There's a specific MO. But I feel like characters like James Burke tie it all together and make me think of movies like The Survivor and books like here, let me pull it up for you. That's why we titled it Surviving the Game.
Training school, smiled.
Whoop, wrong one. The Most Dangerous Game. The movie's based on this short story here. It's basically about a general who finds unfortunate victims and hunts them in the jungle. So the movie with Ice-T, he's the star of the movie, is based on this short story here. And I think I have a clip. Let's listen.
Training school, smiled the general. It's in the cellar. I have about a dozen pupils down there now. They're from the Spanish bark San Lucar that had the bad luck to go on the rocks out there. A very inferior lot, I regret to say. Poor specimens and more accustomed to the deck than to the jungle. He raised his hand, and Ivan, who served as a waiter, brought thick Turkish coffee. Rainsford, with an effort, held his tongue in check. It's a game, you see, pursued the general blandly. I suggest to one of them that we go hunting. I give him a supply of food and an excellent hunting knife. I give him 3 hours' start. I am to follow, armed only with a pistol of the smallest caliber and range. If my quarry eludes me for 3 whole days, he wins the game. If I find him, the general smiled, he loses.
Meaning he dies. So it was kind of a theory that I presented to my subscribers that these women were being hunted. And I'm going to kind of go over the reasons I believe that. One being the 911 call from Shannon Gilbert. All of the bodies and the multiple, really, serial killers who are connected in this one area, not to mention the lead investigator, the man in charge, the chief of police, the guy who kept the FBI out of the investigation. There's reports and witnesses who claim that he was at these parties at Gilgo Beach. So the theory is that they would get together, they would find an unfortunate person, somebody who was really desperate, somebody they knew the family wouldn't be looking for them for some time, a prostitute, possibly, most likely drug addicted, somebody needing money in a hurry. Oh, I heard you need money. Okay, well, they would convince you to do jobs that you probably wouldn't normally do, something over near Gilgo Beach, something that you think is going to be sketchy, but they know that you're desperate. They know that they can get you to go there. And that's kind of like this movie. Let me play you a few clips here.
kind of job are you talking about? We need someone to help us with our hunts out in the wilderness.
Are you sure about this one?
Oh, I'm sure.
Has he got courage?
Gentlemen, I would like you to meet our new hunting guide.
So there's one. People they would consider throwaway.
You're missing the best part, Mr. Mason. You're missing the best part, Mr. Mason.
His name's Mason. So they lure this man who he was a homeless man, and they under a ruse, and they lure him to this place under the ruse of a job, that they have a job waiting for him. But really it's just these group of serial killers who are going to be hunting him, just like they've hunted dozens of people before. It's a really good movie, Surviving the Game. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. But that is kind of the theme, or for the theory, or however you want to put it. That's what I think is going on over there. And I think there's a group of people. I think there's politicians involved, very powerful people within law enforcement. I think there's your average Joes. And then there's people like Rex Heuermann, somewhere in between. And I think they get together. They have people like, do you guys remember that Michael character? Michael Pack. So let's take a look at Michael Pack.
The car that I drove Shannon in that night to Burke's house. I think Shannon texted me around 4 p.m. to pick her up in Midtown around 8 p.m. So she was kind of in a state that day. She said she needed to pay rent.
Needed to pay rent?
And she needed money.
Right, so that makes her the perfect target.
Even though that area in Long Beach, on Long Island, was far away, it was a lucrative job compared to most jobs.
See, lucrative compared to most. So, man, I got a job for you. It's a little risky, but it'll pay off. Okay, I really need it. So you got guys like this. I think he was a pimp or a driver or both. Bodyguard type. Well, I think these groups of men who would hunt these women, and some men in some of the cases, would use men like Michael here to kind of find their targets. They have a list. Somebody who, if they go missing, nobody's going to come looking. Somebody that we can, first of all, lure out here, somebody desperate enough, to take this kind of a job, because it's probably explained to them as a party. And we know Shannon did not want to go outside. And we also know that Rex Heuermann's victims were covered in burlap. And I don't know, didn't we get information that he's possibly wearing a burlap, some kind of burlap, and that's used in duck hunting as well. And also recently in the documents that were released, he uses the term hunt. I need to be rested for the hunt. And it sounds like they're going out and committing this murder, at least in his case, with their bare hands. All of the victims are strangled. So I feel like that's what they were doing, giving them a head start out there on Gilgo Beach and saying, yeah, you better get going because we're going to hunt you.
I was looking for Shannon that night, on a night much darker than this, with no street lights. They had no street lights there.
Anna, great comment. And I have my file for Robert Hansen, so we're going to talk about that. Anna's talking about Robert Hansen. He's a serial killer out of Alaska. There was a movie made about him, and he would pick up prostitutes and take them out there to the Alaskan wilderness and hunt them. Very similar to what these guys do. And I think this is a group of people who are hunting women.
And all I could
or
see
were
was from my headlights. Yeah, I was driving in an unfamiliar territory looking for Shannon, but I didn't even really think about that. I was just trying to find her.
I think what happened with Shannon is she called law enforcement and the other guys called it off. So she knew they were going to hunt her. She didn't want to go outside. If I go outside, you guys, I already saw what was out there. And you can hear it in her voice that she sees something strange. And I think it's people dressed in weird costumes or maybe burlap. But because she called 911 and knocked on a few doors, I think they panicked. So she just kept running and nobody was chasing her. They just backed off. But that was Michael Pack, her driver, Shannon's driver. And we'll listen to her 911 call here in a little bit. So we're going to tie it all together with Shannon and James Burke. And now with the recent information released about Rex Heuermann and Sandra Castilla and Jessica Taylor. Now, the way we're bringing in John Bittrolff is he was a huge suspect for the Long Island serial killer. And the only reason he wasn't considered was the MO for his two specific victims. But they did mention in a lot of his coverage Sandra Castilla. So he was never formally charged with it. He was suspected in this crime. So I wonder if they drug them, then tell them to run. I think that's what happened. I think they are drugged. They might even wake up and everybody's just ready to, to chase them. Maybe in different outfits, costumes, and they're like, what the hell? And I think Shannon knew. She knew better. By the way, we're doing a giveaway. Check out these shirts we got. Check out the merch, guys. Isn't that nice? So I'm going to give away one of these shirts. You can pick it in this color and black. I think I'll have, well, any size, really. Should have them all. And then a hat. So we'll do a giveaway towards the end of the month. Those people who have registered on the new website, and you can only purchase these on sleuthintuition.com. So if you guys want to support my channel, this is a really good way to do it. And so people who are registered on the website, members of my channel, people who have donated to my Cash App, things like that. I'm just going to put you guys all in one big group and we're going to spin the wheel twice. And keep a lookout for that notification. I'm still kind of working it out, giving people an opportunity to go register over there. So that was Surviving the Game and the book, The Most Dangerous Game, which the movie is based on the book. But you get the idea, right? I think there's another silly movie called The Pest. That kind of made based on the same book. I was looking through the wrong thingy. That's a funny movie. Manus says another channel has shown numbers of disappeared or unalived girls everywhere. Rex Heuermann has lived, studied, worked, and traveled. I'd guess today is the beginning of an avalanche. Yeah, I was hanging out in the Discord and we were talking about the possibility of other groups like this existing, all over the world, all over the United States. It's kind of scary. We did a live stream on the FBI reporting over 500 unsolved murders on U.S. highways. Isn't that scary? Most of them are attributed to, well, their POIs are truckers, and the victims are runaways and prostitutes, mainly. So there's a pattern there. It's a calculation. Just like Rex Heuermann's little checklist. And also they brought up the book by John Douglas, The Cases That Haunt Us. Thought that was interesting. It's a good book. And I grabbed the introduction. So I'm sure we can read that at some point. So he was doing his homework. Okay, and then we're going to talk about James Burke. Here, maybe I'll just play this video real quick. Where'd I put it? Oh, there it is.
Heuermann, the alleged Gilgo Beach
Jeez.
serial killer, is facing more charges.
We've seen coming together over the last few
2 hours combing through.
This isn't it. Hold on.
State police. Yeah.
I lost it.
On a serial killer mystery in Long Island.
Oh, here it is.
On a serial killer mystery.
Can you guys hear that okay?
Island. It's something we've been covering here on the early show. And on Tuesday, police found the apparent remains of a New Jersey prostitute who disappeared now a year and a half ago.
The search for that woman has led to the discovery of 10 other bodies. 48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty has been following this case closely. She joins us. Erin, good morning.
Well, we have more pieces of the puzzle. If not for Shannon
like
Gilbert,
a graveyard.
police might never have known that there's at least one serial killer on the loose on Long Island targeting sex workers. But no one could find Shannon until this week. It took more than 18 months and massive efforts by man and machine. But police on New York's Long Island this week think they finally found Shannon Gilbert, a 23-year-old woman missing since May 2010.
We have this day at approximately 9:14 a.m. located the set of skeletal remains.
Gilbert was the catalyst for what has become Long Island's largest homicide investigation. Late last year, police searching for her stumbled instead upon the bodies of 4 other women. More searches.
Yeah, she was really
led to
smart.
more bodies.
She knew
10
what
in
was up.
all. Suffolk County Police Commissioner Richard Dormer voiced what everyone feared.
We're looking at that we could have a serial killer.
Shannon Gilbert, a New
serial
Jersey
killer.
escort, vanished after making a panicked 911 call and running from a client's
We'll listen
home
to
in a
that next.
beachfront gated community. The client is not a suspect. Because the other victims were also linked to the sex trade, Gilbert's family feared she had become number 11. Investigators, criticized for not acting fast enough when Shannon Gilbert first disappeared, continued to search for her until Tuesday morning.
I got the word. They said, we found her. We believe it's her.
The body, believed to be Gilbert's, was found in a marshy area just a half-mile from where she disappeared, leading investigators to theorize that she simply drowned.
She went into that area that night, hysterical, upset, overcome by the elements, and she expired.
Friends and
Bullshit.
family refuse to believe that. They
Think she was
say the
hunted.
911 call and the fact that her clothing and purse were found far from her remains suggests foul play.
We'll wait till an autopsy is performed to know for sure what happened to her.
Whatever an autopsy determines, it's a tragic end for a young woman who once hoped to be a singer. Shannon Gilbert sparked an investigation and for a brief moment caught our attention. And the truth is, we may never know exactly what did happen to Shannon Gilbert. After this much time, the medical examiner may not be able to exactly pinpoint the cause of death. I mean, the body, if that is in fact her, has been out 18 months.
You point out in your piece of how her family is convinced that she could be one of the victims. They talk about the 911 call. They talk about the placement of things that were found. But investigators, law enforcement, not convinced. Why is that? I mean, why is there just
Why are they so convinced
that she is not?
Well, number one, I don't believe she's number 11. I don't think she's a victim of the serial killer, but she could have been
Why
murdered
not?
because she was afraid of something that night.
Sure.
I think the investigators say why she's not the 11th, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, she's obviously a victim. And I think she's the one giving us the insight into what happened to the rest of these girls. What was happening to her, I think they went through that. They just weren't smart enough to come back to the house. Just like in The Most Dangerous Game and just like in Surviving the Game, for the first time, one of the victims comes back to the house. So they may have chased her. She came back. She got her hands on a phone, and I don't think they were expecting that. Good to see you, Blind Squirrel, Mustang, Boston, Christian, Knockface, Sherry Wilson, welcome in. Okay, let's introduce James Burke. Okay, just a little bit of background information on who James Burke is. He was the chief of police. He was the lead investigator. He was in charge of the investigation for the Long Island serial killer. Well, recently, witnesses have come forward, ex-sex workers, current sex workers, came forward and stated that he would not only organize but attend some of these weird parties. And I think even one of the girls mentions hunting women. So we're going to look at that article here as well. What's up, Lola? And he was also recently in the news, which is really strange. And he was propositioning, I believe, an undercover officer, I think like a vice cop, acting as if she or he. It may have been a male, but it was the officer was portraying a prostitute, and he propositioned her. So this guy was, I mean, he was in charge of the entire investigation. He kept the FBI out. And now we find out he's just a real scumbag. Let me see if I have that article here. I hope I do. Here it is. Joined sex parties near Gilgo murders. This was put out in 2016. Looks like her name was Leanne. A disgraced Long Island police chief is being connected to the infamous Gilgo Beach murders by a lawyer for one of the victims and prostitute who claims the cop participated in area sex parties. So that's probably how they're prefaced, right, to the victims. Like, this is, you're going to get a lot of money. I know you don't want to you're not interested in sex parties usually, and this isn't something you normally do. Travel, we got to travel, but you're going to be rewarded for it. All right. They're talked into it. First, they're targeted, and then they're lured out there. Former Suffolk County Police Chief James Burke, who allegedly obstructed the FBI from investigating the unsolved murders, attended parties with drugs and prostitution in Oak Beach. The lawyer said, "This is the first time that there has been an actual connection made between former Chief of Police Burke, Oak Beach, and prostitution," the lawyer John Ray said at a press conference. Also, the prostitute who identified herself as Leanne claimed she had rough sex with Burke. Leanne also said, "Witness Burke grab a girl by her hair and drag her to the ground." Ray, the lawyer for the family of a slain woman, Shannon Gilbert, hopes to question Burke under oath about his role in the parties. The bodies of 8 women, a man, and a toddler have been found on or near Gilgo Beach since 1996. Some of the murdered women are believed to have worked in the sex industry. Okay, so isn't that a perfect conspiracy? You have the guy who's in charge of the entire investigation. He can control the narrative. He can do whatever he wants. FBI, we don't need him. We got this. We have it under control. So everything that they claim for the Delphi case is really happening in this case here, and they have solid proof of a scumbag behind it all. So before we move on to the 911 call, let's do a little bit of background here on James Burke. This article was by Canal Day, published 2023. Burke is a controversial figure who served time in federal prison for assaulting a suspect who had stolen his duffel bag containing adult toys and porn tapes. Now, we're talking about an officer who was on duty. His boss, Thomas Spada, the former Suffolk district attorney, also went to prison for obstructing justice in an attempt to cover up the incident. A sex worker claimed in 2016 to have encountered Burke at sex parties in Oak Beach, near where the Gilgo murder victims were found, as reported by the New York Post. Prior to becoming Suffolk County Police Chief, Burke had faced another scandal involving engaging in sexual activities with a sex worker who used crack cocaine in his patrol car while he was in uniform, as reported by the New York Times. Burke has been described by acquaintances as a sex-obsessed narcissist and a middle-aged bachelor with a vulgar disregard for social niceties, according to Vice. He assumed the position of Suffolk County Police Chief shortly after the remains of the victims were discovered on Gilgo Beach. So this kind of reminds me a little bit of the Maura Murray case. There was an officer who was involved and listed as a potential suspect. And after this happened, he became very ambitious and he became the chief of police. As he says it, to quote him, it's nice to be your own boss. So it kind of reminds me of that a little bit. A podcast titled Unraveled, Long Island Serial Killer, released in July, alleges that Burke, just weeks after taking office, excluded the FBI from the Gilgo Beach serial killer investigation. Burke was released from prison in 2019 after serving his sentence for assaulting the suspect. So now you know his role in this whole thing. Let's look at some of his recent arrest. Some information on his most recent arrest. I had a really good video on him where they talk about all this, but I lost it. Maybe we'll come back to it. All right. Viewer discretion is advised. We're going to go ahead and look and listen to the Shannon Gilbert 911 call. Can you guys hear that? No audio? Okay, let me start it over. I had you guys on mute.
Hello? Yeah. Do you need the police? Yeah. Where? Where?
She sounds drugged right there.
Who's there with you?
Thanks, Farmer. Good to see you.
Hello? What's going on?
Somebody after me.
What?
Somebody after me.
Somebody's
Somebody
after me.
is harassing you?
After me.
Who?
Can you trace where I am?
Let me talk to him.
Did you hear what he said?
Can you trace where I am?
He said there's nobody out there. So that means she was outside and she's back in now.
Let me talk to him.
I'm by the Jones Beach.
You're at Jones Beach?
By the Jones Beach.
All right, let me connect you to state police. Stay on the line.
That's so ridiculous.
Why?
This has gotten so many people killed. This whole
You gotta
transfer
talk
bullshit.
louder to them.
Why? Why?
State Police, Trooper Fry. State Police.
Yeah, there's somebody after me.
I'm sorry?
There's somebody after me.
Where are you?
There's somebody after me.
Okay, where are you?
There's somebody after me.
Where are you, ma'am?
I don't know.
You're driving right now?
No, I'm inside the house.
I'm sorry?
I'm inside the house.
What house?
I don't know. Can you trace where I am?
I'm sorry?
Can you trace where I am?
No, I can't. What's your callback number you're calling from?
Huh?
What phone number are you calling from?
Somebody's after me. Please.
Are you in Suffolk County or Nassau County?
So to me, it sounds like the drugs are wearing off and she came back to the house. She's already been outside, but she knew out there they were hunting her, in my opinion. She came back to the house, which was brilliant. And she got her hands on the phone. But unfortunately, I think she did succumb to the elements. I think that they gave up at that point. They knew it was too risky.
I'm in Long Island.
Where on Long Island are you?
No. No.
Hey, Sensei.
No. No, stop, no.
Where in Long Island are you? In Suffolk County? Nassau County?
Huh? Why? Why are you calling me by my name? Why?
Yeah, why are you calling me by my name? There's no reason to fake it anymore. And where is she going to go? They're going to chase her all the way to the ocean. There's really nowhere to go. Look at that brush.
County, you on the line?
Stop. Please. Stop it, please. Please stop. Please, can you shut the door?
No, time to go.
Please. Please. Please.
She does not want to go out there.
Go that way, please. Go, come on, let's go. Come on, roll that side. Come on, go outside. Come on, roll that side. Come on.
No, please.
Thanks, Sparky.
Please, come on. Please. Come on. Why? Why?
County, are you on the line?
Why? Why? Why are you guys doing this to me? Doing this.
What county are you in, ma'am?
Doing this. Why are you calling me by my name? Please. No, please. No. No, stop it, please. Stop it, please. Please stop it. Please stop it. No, stop it. Please stop it. No.
Let me fix that.
Please stop it. No, please stop it, please. Please stop it, please. No, what are you going to do to me? What are you going to do to me? Stop it.
Please, get him out of here.
Mama.
What's the matter? Are you okay?
What are you going to do? What are you going to do to me?
I believe there's at least one man. I think there may be a doctor there as well. So there's at least two. And then I think there's the driver, that Michael Pack character. And I think he's outside trying to convince her to come out. But for whatever reason, she doesn't want to go out there. And from what we heard earlier, it sounds like she was already out there. Now she's back inside.
Why? Huh?
Well, I don't know, but it was transferred to me.
Why? Are you going to tell me?
Camaro, they don't believe that she was murdered, but obviously something was going on. I believe that technically, she was murdered. This is murder. If you force somebody out into the elements against their will after drugging them and attempting to hunt them, I mean, that's murder, in my opinion. But officially, they haven't said. But she did die right shortly after this 911 call.
I think it's Suffolk County on the
Why are you going to
call Suffolk County?
I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Let's go back to Manhattan, all right?
That sounds like Michael Pack.
We're out near the water, though.
I think that's Michael Pack. And the other guy mentions, oh, well, you're out here by the water. So I think you guys kind of get the idea of what was going on.
Please stop.
Please, Mike. Brother, come on.
No, stop it, please.
Okay, fine.
Please take my time to what, you guys?
I'm around near the water.
You guys? I didn't do anything.
631. 511.
Why?
For some reason, I get the feeling if she could describe what she was seeing, it was probably weapons, maybe laid out on a table, maybe coming to during a conversation. Now they're wearing some strange costumes, and she realizes she's been drugged.
Mike, you close that?
Some guy named Mike here.
Mike. Why?
Michael Pack.
Why? Why, Mike? I'm fine. Police? I'm never going to do it again. Why?
She says, I'm never going to do it again. Like she was talked into it. Well, I'm never going to do this again. And they're probably thinking, nope, you're not. That's what they all say.
I never do. I never did.
Good to see you, Jamie.
Mike, please. Mike, please. Please. Please.
Yeah, there is a voice in the background that does resemble Heuermann. I'll agree with that.
There's something I don't know what phone she's calling from, but I can't get her back. Can you see where she's coming from? She needs help.
You're like, I'm gonna find my way home.
It's somebody in the house with the female. And the female was the initial caller.
So this is all set up?
He's threatening to leave her. If you guys can't hear, the Michael character is saying, I'm going to leave you.
You told me you're gonna find your way home, so I was like, what? You know, nothing that I
This is all set up?
You've never seen this before.
Let's go to Anna's comment. For all we know, Rex Heuermann, Burke could have been present in the client's home where Shannon panicked and said they planned to kill her. That's what I'm saying. That's what this entire live stream, you summed it up right there. That's what I'm trying to convey. I think these guys were having parties. They would call them sex parties, and they would find their victims, lure them there, do their sex party, and then drug their victims, and then hunt them.
Well, you're joking with me, right?
Why?
I don't know. Why are you doing that?
Look at it out here.
All right, I'll say I was lying. I was lying.
You did?
Why?
It's a 631 number.
Why?
Yeah, it's hard to listen to.
You can try talking to her, but she's not.
Okay, now take away the 911 call and kind of, I think this is what happened to all of the girls. They were in a similar house. They were at a similar party. But the reason I titled this Surviving the Game, because Shannon is the iced tea out of all of this. She's the one who said, hey, I'm coming back to the house. I'm not going to play this game. You can't hunt somebody that's not running. You know, they're back at the stable. You know, they went back. So how are you going to hunt somebody? They're sitting right back where you started. Just like in Surviving the Game, they realized that. And I think, and remember, if it wasn't for Shannon, they wouldn't have found any of this. So even though she passed away, she's the hero. She was the wise one. She's the star of that movie. She survived the game. Unfortunately, she succumbed to the elements. But if it wasn't for her and finding her, they wouldn't have been able to uncover this vast conspiracy, which I think they're still working on.
She's got the phone down.
Hello? Hello? Please. What's the problem? What's the matter? What happened? Hello? Please, get me out of here, Lee. Hello? You're being sarcastic about this.
Yeah, Anna. The doctor is a huge part of this story. I don't know if we're going to have time to go into that. But yeah, I believe he was in on it. All of them.
You were part of this all along.
You were part of this, is what she said.
Mike, please. I'm begging you.
Welcome
I'm
in.
gonna go home.
Is it Jeanette?
Well, we can give them. What's the 573 9308.
Is that us? What's going on?
I think so.
What? Yeah.
Extension answering. That's the number it came in.
Why are you sitting there looking about the house phone? Something's gonna happen to me.
Yeah, you could call.
She knows somebody's outside. Somebody's waiting for her outside. Maybe even be a group of men. She knows. And pay attention to once they finally drag her outside. She definitely sees something.
Call it, but we're not going to know where it is. County should call it.
County phone number.
Please.
Every time county number checks for something over.
Okay. Fine. Get out of here. What's in the phone?
Oh, it does? Suffolk? It's got to be Suffolk, right?
And they almost think it's funny that she has the phone because they know the only phone that's available, what type of phone it is. It's a burner phone, and they know it's going to take forever to figure out where they are. And she doesn't really know where they are. They think it's funny because they've taken those precautions. And we know that now. We know how proactive these guys are. From the breaking news recently, Rex Heuermann's planning documents. We're going to finish with that because we only have about 20, 30 minutes left. But that's proof. And that's why they're laughing, in my opinion. They're laughing at the fact that she has the phone and she's calling 911. She doesn't even know where she is. The operators can't find them. And these guys are like, all you need to do is come outside. Because that's why we're all here. That's why we probably all put in a shit ton of money. That's why I don't know how they find each other or become members of these types of groups. I have a feeling just like the movie and the book, it's handed down from father to child. But who knows? Some Illuminati shit.
Hello?
Stop it. Stop it, Mike.
Hello, where are you?
Huh?
Where are you?
What's going on there?
What's your name?
Where's the bathroom?
What's your name?
Shannon Gilbert.
Shannon Gilbert.
What's your name?
Shannon Gilbert.
Where are you?
I'm in Long Island.
And what's wrong?
Huh?
What happened?
These people are trying to kill me.
Where are you? What's your address?
These people are plotting to kill me.
What's your address?
My address.
What's your address?
Oh, Mike, stop, Mike. Yeah. Mike, stop. Mike.
See, I think at this point, they're attempting to pull her outside.
Stop, Mike. Mike, stop it.
Where are you?
Mike, stop it. Mike, stop it.
What's your name, Shannon?
Huh? Mike, stop. Come here.
Where are you? What's your address? Hello?
Maybe, Anna, yeah.
Yeah, hold on a minute. I know you're telling the truth.
That's the first I heard of that. I'm hearing that.
Tell them something. Mike, stop it. You guys are planning something. Mike.
Where are you?
Mike.
Are you in the house?
Yeah. Mike, stop it.
What town are you in?
Long Island. Mike,
where?
Stop, Mike.
Where in Long Island?
Stop it, Mike. Mike, stop it.
I think he's pulling her by her arm. Like, let's go.
Hey, stop it. Where in Long Island are you? Hello? Hello, Tony. Where in Long Island are you? I don't know. You're gonna tell me. Are you in a house? Are you in a house? Yeah. Whose house is it? I don't know. Who is Mike? What's his...
Hey, Sensei. Yeah, Michael Pack was her driver, and I believe he's also part of the conspiracy as well. I think he plays a vital role in it. I think he's the one who weeds out the victims, who he's going to pick and who he's not. He finds the ones who are very desperate because that's what they need because they sell them. You're going to a sex party. You know, this is something that you don't normally do. It's not the typical job that you take. But I know I came to you as a friend. I came to you specifically because I know that you needed help. I heard that you needed money and you need it quickly. I know this isn't something you normally do, but I'm coming to you as a friend, just like the movie Surviving the Game. That's what he does. This guy's homeless. He says, I want to help you. I can help you change your life. I'm going to give you a ton of money. You're going to come work on a ranch with me, and we're going to assist hunters. But that's not what happens. They get him into a secluded area that they're not familiar with, and then they hunt them.
His last name? Mike what?
Oh, yeah.
How old are you? What's his last name? What's his last name? What's his last name?
Yeah, I guess it is a lot like the movie Hostel, where they kind of lure you and then drug you. Then you wake up in a different place, and it's like these weird rich people who are killing people, you know? I think that's exactly what's going on here.
Shannon. 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 Yeah. What town? What town are you in? Hello? What's Mike's last name? Hello? You're killing me. One of the guys said, let's go back to Mr. Where are you?
Oh, sorry.
1034 Farmingdale in service.
Where are you, Shannon?
What I was saying is they sent the dogs out there to look for Shannon, and they basically found a graveyard. And I was saying that's really the only way I can explain it is that it's a graveyard.
Shannon. Shannon.
Hey, what's up, Richard?
963, ready.
Shannon.
Sorry about all that noise. Turn her down for a second. Okay, hold on, guys. So they're dragging her outside. Notice once they get her outside on the porch, listen to her attitude and the tone of her voice and how she begins to scream. She sees something out there, something strange.
You're gonna kill me.
One of the guys said, let's go back to the
She said they're going to kill me right now.
Where are you? Where are you, Shannon? Shannon. Shannon.
1234, 963, ready.
Shannon.
So she's running. Okay. So we all know what happens from here. They find her purse, her cell phone, and she's out in that thick brush. Okay, now let's go over here to Rex Heuermann. Before we do that, let's watch this.
Faces that have come to represent pure evil. On the left is the
Rex's
happy
pen
face
pal.
killer convicted of murdering at least 8 women and leaving smiley face drawings at the crime scenes. The other is the accused Gilgo Beach serial killer. Now their 2 families have made a connection, sharing
Creepy.
a very
This is some
unique
creepy
bond.
shit, in my opinion.
Comfort for the embattled family of the accused Gilgo Beach killer from a woman who knows firsthand what they're going through.
I'm the daughter of the happy face killer.
Melissa Moore's father is Keith Jesperson, the notorious happy face killer, so called because of the smiley face he drew on taunting letters to cops. He murdered 8 women in the 1990s. After architect Rex Heuermann was charged with murdering 3 women, Melissa Moore's sense of compassion led her to set up a GoFundMe page for the Heuermann family. Now that's led to an extraordinary encounter, a get-together at the family's home on Long Island.
Blind Squirrel, I believe they searched the area right away. I think there was a large search in that area. They just never found her, I believe.
I just embraced her and gave her a hug, stroked her hair and said, it's all going to be okay.
Moore tells Allison Hall she also met Rex Heuermann's 2 grown children.
You went in the home and then you sat on the porch with the 3 of them?
Yeah, it was very
This is so
relaxing
weird.
in the sense that there's no reporters. The one thing that I'm very proud of, though, is that I was able to offer some relief in this hellish circumstance.
What advice did you give them when you met with them?
Keep in mind that she also connected Rex with her serial killer father. So she's not just helping the family, she actually connected 2 killers together.
I have lots of advice, but the one thing that I would hope for them is that they would leave the home and not attend the trial. I'm actually really impressed with how the family is coping under the circumstances. They're dissecting their lives. I mean, who wouldn't be dissecting their life when you find out that your husband's accused of serial murder?
Although authorities say the wife and
caught.
children were ignorant of the crimes Heuermann's charged with, the lawyer who represents some Gilgo Beach
I like that
victims
guy.
isn't
I
convinced.
think he makes his
She
own
should be
clothes.
considered a suspect and not just a bystander or someone who's been victimized by a husband.
There are some people who think she must have known. What do you think about that?
Well, I wouldn't put my name on a GoFundMe if I believed she was complicit in any way. The biggest thing that I think is the cause of suffering for family members of serial killers or perpetrators is that question, how did you not know, or did you know?
Melissa Moore, the Happy Face Killer's daughter, is co-hosting a new
Crazy. Here's a question. Good to see you. It's me. I don't understand how they can still live in that house. Now, come to find out, they may have been murdered in that home. Some of those girls. Okay. Now, I've shown this quick little video before. This is a video I did on Robert Hansen. See how long it is. It's only 7 minutes long. So we'll watch this. This is just to give you guys an idea that this stuff really does happen. It's happened in the past. It's probably happening now. But we'll use this as an example of how real this theory could be. Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. Today we will be discussing Robert Hansen, the Butcher Baker. The majority of the information from today's video was pulled from historydaily.org. The link is in the description. Between 1971 and 1983, Alaskan baker Robert Hansen killed at least 17 women. Although he was only convicted of 4 murders, each were carried out the same way, with the same brutal precision. Hansen's story isn't of someone who went down the wrong path. It's the story of the real-life boogeyman. Robert Hansen was born in Esterville, Iowa, in 1939 to a family of Danish immigrants. His father, a baker, expected him to go into the family business. But the only thing the young Hansen liked to do was hunt and practice archery. There's no account of Hansen having friends or any semblance of a social life. Hansen later said that he was rejected by the young women in high school and mocked for his stutter pushed him to fantasies of revenge. The calm before the storm. Starting in 1957, it looked as if the Army Reserves could offer Hansen an escape, but he was discharged after just a year. After he returned to Iowa, he worked as an assistant drill instructor with the Pocahontas, Iowa Police, and even married a woman that he met on the job. From the outside, it looked as if he was finding his footing as an adult and letting go of his anger from the past. But this was just the calm before the storm. On December 7th, I feel like aspiring serial killers, I feel like having a wife and a family is maybe step number 1 in hiding. In 1960, police picked up Hansen after he burned down the Pocahontas County school bus garage, an act he blamed on the mental anguish he endured in high school. He only served 20 months of a 3-year sentence, and by the time he was released, he was divorced. Looking for a change, he fled to Alaska. Stops and starts. In 1967, moving to Alaska meant starting over from scratch. No one knew about any part of his past, and Anchorage was a small community at the time, so Hansen easily blended in with his neighbors. He remarried, started a family, and opened a bakery, just like his father always wanted. 5 years after he moved to Alaska, however, Hansen was arrested first for the abduction and attempted rape of one woman, and then the sexual assault of another. Altogether, Hansen served 6 months in prison before he was remanded to a halfway house. Emboldened by his ability to walk free after 2 heinous crimes, he started his killing spree in 1973. Very specific prey. Every killer has a modus operandi. Jeffrey Dahmer picked up men in clubs before taking them back to his apartment and killing them. Ted Bundy wore a cast and preyed on brunettes who were kind enough to offer him help. Robert Hansen kidnapped sex workers, flew them to a remote section of Alaskan wilderness, and hunted them. Hansen is far from the only monster to target sex workers, and there's a reason for that. Police are less likely to investigate their deaths as thoroughly as they otherwise might. In Hansen's case, they were also readily available. Construction on the Trans-Alaska Pipeline turned many cities into boomtowns in the 70s, and sex workers followed the money. When they went missing, it was generally assumed that they left for greener pastures, not that they were being hunted in the wilderness. Yeah,
Initial
F that,
blunders.
Canadian. F that. Hansen's first murder didn't go well. Following his arrest in 1983, he told authorities that in the early 70s he picked up a sex worker, and as he was driving her out of town, he pulled a gun on her. He didn't expect her to fight back. Hansen and his victim tussled.
I don't think
in the
it was
car,
Nick Cage.
But after he stabbed her in the neck with a knife, things came to a quick end. No one knows if she succumbed to
I
her
think it was
injuries in
Cusack.
Hansen's car.
John Cusack.
But he didn't have time to fly her to the woods. Instead, he dumped her in a shallow grave where she stayed until 1980. Hansen didn't know her name, and by the time she was discovered, no distinguishing features could be detected. After the near disaster of his first kill, Hansen learned to be more cautious. Although his method changed little, it's not as if Hansen was operating in complete secrecy at this time. In 1976, he was arrested for shoplifting a chainsaw from Fred Meyer, but after appealing the sentence, he was released. Later, he was arrested for assault.
I think you're right.
Following his final arrest,
Sorry.
a judge told the Associated Press, "This gentleman here has been known to us for several years. We've turned him loose several times." The one who got away. Soon enough, the bodies of young women started to turn up along the Nick River and Figure 8 Lake. The authorities were certain that they had a serial killer on their hands, but they didn't have any leads.
Just like Gilgo.
Until they were approached by Cindy Paulson, a teenage sex worker who Hansen kidnapped and sexually assaulted in his
The
home.
one surviving
He kept
the
her
game.
locked in his basement for an entire day before he drove her to the airfield, where he planned to go about his business as usual. But Paulson managed to escape. Handcuffed and barefoot, she burst out of Hansen's car and ran to the closest road, where she flagged down a trucker and asked him to take her to the police station. Spending all of that time in Hansen's home meant Paulson had plenty of information to give to the police. She told him his address, the model of his car and plane, and what he looked like. When they questioned Hansen, he gave them what appeared to be a solid alibi, but they found out the truth when they spoke to his friends. Hansen claimed he was with during the time of the kidnapping and assault. A search of Hansen's home revealed a variety of secret compartments and hidden rooms, including a soundproof room in his basement that held a map of Anchorage marked with 20-plus locations, likely where he buried his victims. In the attic, police
Just like
found an
Rex.
extensive jewelry collection, trophies that he kept from his victims, as well as a .223 caliber rifle. Life in prison. After
All right, so you guys get the point. Those documents, I have them right here. I was reading them just before we went live. Are these the ones you're referring to?
Yeah, these are online if you guys want to go through them. They're readily available. There's a specific document that I wanted to focus on. Was Rex Heuermann's planning documents, and then this also here is something that was included in those documents. Looks like a matrix here. Oops, sorry. So it has a list of the victims: Sandra Castilla, Jessica Taylor, Maureen Barnes, Megan Waterman. Kind of tells you how they're able to connect Rex to these victims. Mitochondrial DNA. So I think that's something they might have in the Delphi case, where it's like 1 in a billion or something like that. Like we can't exclude you, very similar to a fingerprint. Like you could never really actually know if somebody else on the planet has your exact fingerprint. You just know that the odds are astronomical. So things like approximate location of hair recovery, tape lift of striped shirt above victim's head. So that's where he kind of screwed up, was he was leaving hair everywhere. Like my wife's hair is on everything. If I look, I can probably find a strand somewhere. On surgical drape underneath victim, buckle of belt restraining lower body, outside head area, tape in the area of the head, bottom portion of burlap. Yeah, so he's got, he's getting hair everywhere. But this is what stood out to me here, and it kind of goes with today's live stream. Now, they found this on a deleted folder on one of his devices, and it's basically him prepping for murder, as if this is at least his second go-around. Now, he labeled this one body prep. Wash body inside and all cavities, remove trace evidence, fingerprints, and hair. Like, how disgusting is that? Remove trace DNA, remove ID marks, tattoos, and marks. And we learned that some of the victims had their tattoos pulverized, is the word they used. But I'm thinking they were cut off. Remove marks from torture. Remove head and hands. Like, oh my gosh. Package for transport. This is straight out of a horror movie. Dispose of the following: tools and devices, T1 clothes and personal items, drop cloths, wipes and towels, props, toys, wood items. This is painting a very dark picture of what these girls went through, and in some cases, men. Props, toys, wood items. And remember, Rex Heuermann was looking up like actual snuff. What you wore. He's talking to himself. Destroy book and computer files. Burn gloves. Dispose of box and plastic. I think that's bags. I think that's a typo. To avoid trace. Things to remember. Sound travels. Think bird outside. Control the amount of air in and out to control the noise made. This is some diabolical shit. Get sleep before hunt. What hunt? I'm telling you guys, there's a group of men who are hunting women, and I think this is happening more than we think. Hit harder, too many hit to take down. That's what they enjoy of this. They're saying, It's harder than you think is what he's trying to tell himself in the future. It's harder than you thought. But that's why we do it. We do it because it's hard. We do it because it's the most dangerous game. Humans. We're going to hunt humans with our bare hands. Harder to mini hit to take down. Consider a hit to the face or the neck next time for a takedown. So they're getting better. They're evolving. More sleep and noise control equals more playtime. Playtime? Use push pins to hang drop cloths from the ceiling, not tape. I think that might be because of hair, maybe. So he seems to be concerned with the very thing that got him caught. Use heavy rope for neck. Light rope broke under stress of being tightened. He's more concerned about the rope than the neck that it's around. Take down, pick up. Hunt too long. Look at that shit. There it is again. Hunt too long. Seen an area too long. I'm telling you guys, these girls were being hunted. Remember, don't charge gas. Recon for video cams and pickup area. Problems, DNA, tire marks, flood stains, fingerprints. MO, plastic bag, cat litter, witness, trace source of supplies. Foot, shoe prints, photos, misleaders, police stop, truck stop, fingerprints, in gloves. Plastic bags matched to box, hair and fiber. Supplies, booties. Lie, that's to dissolve your body. Acid. Police scanner, rope, cord. This is terrifying, guys. He cannot be the only person doing this. Saw, cutting tools, hair nets, photo film, burn can, foam drain cleaner, body wash, tarps, medical gloves, bags, ratched cargo strap. That's something that was mentioned in another case, that they wrapped a gentleman in a tarp and then they used ratchet straps around him. Dumpster site, next time recon, dumpster locations. So that sounds like he was doing something randomly in some random dumpster. We haven't heard about anything like that, have we? Mentions Megan. Small is good. Weather reports. Like, this dude is, it's everything. It's his summer camp. He's like a kid in a candy store. But it's not a candy store. He's hunting people. Crossbar, hardpoint, destroy files, change tires. Jeez. Burn gloves, dispose of pics. Now you know why he got away for so long. Notes, spur of the moment, cover, Stockholm syndrome. The more you do, the more clues you give. I wouldn't doubt it if he didn't have certain people in homes that we didn't know about, in containers. You know, those mobile dungeons that we've been seeing in homes that have dungeons somewhere inside. I bet you he had places like that somewhere across the United States. I think a lot of these people do. There was a guy who came all the way from the East Coast, catfished some young girl, killed her entire family, just to bring her back to his dungeon. Well, I have a lot more to go over, guys, but that is all my time. I don't want my dinner to get cold. So I appreciate all of you. Going to hit the outro and catch me in the comments, guys. Shout out to the replay crew. Thank you for watching the Sleuth Intuition channel. If you are part of the replay crew, you know what to do. Drop a comment and let me know what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay in the loop. Sleuth Intuition is 100% crowdfunded. If you want to support me and help my channel grow, here are 3 ways that you can help. Number 1, Cash App. The funds go directly to me without YouTube taking a percentage. Number 2, become a member. Members are by far the leading contributors to my channel. Number 3, hit up the merch shop. Represent the Sleuth crew on these ruthless streets. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos. Until next time, peace.